And we are recording on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024 at 11:04 a.m. Eastern Time with Mr. Basil Baz and Mr. Michael Yan. Guys, if you're listening, please go into the description. You can find both of their Twitters. Please go follow them. You can find ARC for Baz, the Association for the Recovery of Children, and you can go see how you can help there. And both of your websites, all that stuff, whatever I'm missing, it is in there. But what I want to talk to you both about, because we've done, you're both so intertwined, experienced in, and I guess, I don't know, educated upon the all things, but the southern border specifically, as it pertains to more so in Baz's field, just broad generalizations, human trafficking. Mike has been on here talking about, military age males, jungle tigers coming in, Darien Gap, U.S. NGOs building, I guess, kind of, forward operating bases, for lack of a better phrase, for these immigrants, for these military age males. And I think it's important because Donald Trump won, and there's no way there's not going to be some changes on the southern border. We'll never get everything we want. That's just life. But I kind of wanted to ask both of you, or to go into it for the listeners of this show, what changes can we reasonably expect? And for I guess Baz, you're the elder here, so Baz, you get to go first.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks. Thanks, Michael. Thank you, guys. Number one, obviously, you know that Trump is 47 is picking his transition team, and so far I'm pleased with, and it's just from a professional of I'm pleased with who he's choosing. But I think more than that, a couple of things have to take place. Those people have to be insulated with good people as well, and hopefully those are the patriots that have remained and held out in the three-letter organizations that are willing to name names and tell who the good guys are and the bad guys are, so that those new leaders in the transition team don't get blindsided. So that's number one. Number two, obviously, I think there's going to be a cleanup period. Um, Trump, as powerful as he is, so to speak, as a leader, he can't do this by himself. The American people have got to do it. So there is a new bolster, if that's the right word, of courage in America, and I think people have got to latch onto that and use it. To be honest with you, there's no time to actually shy away and go back into the woke mentality. Uh, the war is just beginning, actually. If I could share that with the American public. Look, the Democrats, the globalists, the socialists are very quiet. That always gives me reason for, of concern. Any warfighter out there that's listening to this podcast today understands that we don't take a hill and then stand up there and celebrate. We dig in and we wait for a counterattack. And I think that counterattack is going to come in the form of many things that possibly we saw, when Trump was in the first time, BLM, Antifa, whatever it may be, maybe even beyond that, because you've got a Biden administration that has had the opportunity to negotiate and meet with a lot of bad actors around the world. I don't think it's any secret that the Biden administration has been in talks with the Taliban. What about, a lot of people don't want to say that. They don't want to talk about it. But I'm here to tell the American people, you need to be aware. They have been. And on top of the money that they've been giving the Taliban and the discussions that they've been having through other three-letter agencies, we need to be prepared for them to do something to mess up 47's time for the next 4 years. They've got their claws in, and they're not going to let go that easily. So I think the American people need to realize that, and I don't mind boldly saying this: the Democratic Party, the Democrats, and there's good and bad on both sides, of course, but they are nothing but a bunch of liars. They constantly lie. They have been caught in lies, and the irony is, and they're always saying, "Well, Trump lies." Okay, well, what's his lie? And they can't tell you what his lie is. But Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the Democratic Party has been caught over and over and over in manipulation, corruption, and lies. I mean, this recent thing with Joe Biden doing preemptive pardons for a crime that hasn't even been committed yet. Why is that? That's a show of guilt right there, because he knows that people are going to be found guilty of all the crimes of what they've done, the things that they did to the J6 people, the corruption, their hands in the cookie jar, all that. So while he thinks he's doing a sneaky thing, it's really an admission of guilt at the highest level, to be honest with you. So I think after that cleanup period, however long that takes, I think that then we can start to settle in and get the country running again. But those things are imminent, to be honest with you, including the border. All the stuff that's already come across the border, I hope, and I think 47, he said, President Trump said he's going to clean that up, going to get the illegal immigrants back out of the country. But the problem we have, the big issue we have is not just the average illegal immigrant that broke the law to come across the country, but what about the terrorists that came across? What
Mm.
about the bad actors that came across that we have not found yet? Um, they're going to raise their ugly head. They came here for a reason. Those bad actors did not come here to seek asylum in America. They came here to do battle. And anybody that's been in the world of counterterrorism or understands global affairs, understands globalism and socialism, and understands the cartel, and particularly knows for a fact that the cartel has alliances in America at some of the highest levels of government, should realize that we've got to be have our wits about us, so to speak.
Hmm. Mike.
Yeah, if you want to meet the Taliban, just go down to Texas, and they're coming across the border. I mean, seriously, I meet them coming through the Darien Gap all the time. Huge numbers of Afghans coming through. Not that they're all necessarily Taliban. Some of them are probably Uzbeks and Tajiks and that sort of thing. But a lot of them are definitely Pashtun. And Pashtun these days are not all, of course, they're not all Taliban, but a huge amount of them definitely are. You know, and of course, that's just one of the ecosystems. We've got massive numbers of Iranians coming through. We've got massive numbers of Chinese and big numbers of Chinese. And they're not coming across. People often ask, well, why do they come across there when they can just fly in? They do. And often they're so incredulous. They don't believe that it's happening, even at this late date. We're almost in 2025. And there are still a huge number of people that don't realize we're being invaded. This isn't migration. This is a war, right? And the first thing that you have to do in war is figure out what the truth is as best you can, which obviously we can't always figure out truth. And in war, you have to make quick decisions, which means you don't have time to develop the entire information picture and do experiments and, write papers about it and get peer reviews. You know what I mean? You've got to gather as much information as you can, make your best judgment, and take action, right? Because speed is vital, as Baz knows extremely well, right? Your ability to quickly take in information and tend to make more accurate decisions than you screw up on, because you're not always going to get it right. But one thing is for sure, we're in a state of war, and a lot of people think this is just migration to pick oranges or something, right? The Chinese that are coming in, they're going up to places like Maine and Oklahoma and Oregon, Washington State, California, and they're growing a lot of marijuana and other things. And that triggers people. The moment you say marijuana, they're like, oh, you're going after marijuana. It's like, okay, listen, Rambo, this is about war. We're in a war, right? We are in a war. And one of the main weapons in war is intoxicants. And the biggest weapon in war is information war, right? Information war is the highest. The grease of information war is intoxicants of all sorts, whether that be alcohol. I've got a book right here that I just bought the other day in an antique bookstore here in Buenos Aires. It's from 1642, talking about getting the Spaniards getting people drunk. It's reprinted in the 1920s, getting Spaniards getting Guatemalans drunk to steal from them. Right? I see this everywhere. I see it right now in real life. And I see it in history books constantly in the history of war, is using intoxicants to disarm your enemy, right? I mean, it happens every night in bars across the world. You know what I mean? Why do the CIA guys go and open a bar next to a giant company somewhere, right? Their new business is getting information about that company, which, you know what I mean? It's not a coincidence that they own the hotel next to it too, right? So, I mean, seriously, this is the oldest game in the world, is information and using intoxicants to disarm your enemies in so many different ways. But what I'm getting to is the Chinese are coming through. They're growing marijuana. They're starting their own banks. Another bank just got busted about 6 or 7 weeks ago in California. They start their own banks. They're coming in with an entire war ecosystem, right? They're not just coming in to work in laundromats or to get a university degree. Some will be doing that, but what you're seeing on the large picture is actual war, right? They're doing it across Central America. I've been in all the countries between northern Canada and Colombia. I've been in all those countries right now, every single one of them, right? And I'm telling you, the Chinese are coming in, every single one of them. The ones they're having problems with right now are just Belize and Guatemala. Those are their only two holdouts, but they're doing their best there as well. Belize and Guatemala still have relations with Taiwan, but all the others, all the way down to where I'm at now, the Chinese are thick. They're coming in here hard into Argentina. Argentina is key ground. A lot of people don't understand all these things because they don't. I've got literally a map in my head. Like, I can talk about places on Earth and I can be like, well, that border such and such, like one of the reasons Argentina is important, in addition to energy resources and food resources, this has got a lot of empty land with great water, great land, but also you've got the routes. So they're building this corridor between Brazil, goes through Argentina, and it goes through Paraguay. Bolivia's upset that people don't want it to go through there due to their instability. It goes through Chile, right? And the Chinese are getting land all along the way through this corridor. So this is a bioceanic corridor. There's an interoceanic corridor and a bioceanic corridor. One's in Mexico and one's down here, right? Also, they're getting land and resources down in Tierra del Fuego. So in America, once China is going to make a move for the Panama Canal at some point, and Panama Canal is that important to us. It's that important, right? I mean, economically, it's absolutely. Most of our military guys even don't seem to get that these days. Mike Flynn gets it. When I'm telling Mike Flynn about the Darien Gap, he's like, that's extremely important. But people aren't paying attention to the canal. He gets it. He's one of the few that are like, we got to guard that canal, right? And China is clearly setting up Colombia eventually to make, I think, I've never seen anybody say this except for me. I think eventually you're going to see Colombia go, hey, Panama's ours. The United States split Panama off from us to open the canal in 1914. And I think they're going to make a claim on it. That's why they're building a road between Colombia and Panama now. I'm the one that found it, right? And I took Burning Edge down there, and Vandersteel, Masako Ganaha, and you see the roads being built. But yet you still see people saying it's impossible to build a road through the Darien Canal. I've had people say that to me while we're standing next to the Panama Canal. Like, you can't build a road through the Darien Gap. I'm like, look at that thing right in front of you. That's the Panama Canal. That canal is impossible. And there's a ship going by. And it's like, and it opened in 1914. Yeah. I assure you they can build a road through the Darien Gap. They built a road through Louisiana. It's no problem, right? And so it's easy to do. And once that road is built, it will be easy to start to attack Panama, right? Using the road and railway through there. And I'm looking at these railways all over the world. I was just over in Thailand looking at their railway systems that's being developed. China has already built a railway from Shanghai to Rotterdam, all the way at Netherlands, all the way across Europe and Asia, right? I've been to the Shanghai side. I've been to the Rotterdam side. A lot of the things that we're talking about are about replacing populations with their own. Now, there's different oligarchical structures that want to do this. The Chinese want to make the world Chinese. The Zionists want to just control whatever of the world is there left, right? So there's different groups that want to do different things, right? And they both, on the Venn diagram, they cooperate on some, they're frenemies, and they're in opposition on other things, right? But down here in Argentina, I think you're going to see in the future, I've never seen anybody say this except me talking through this microphone in recent times, is I think you're going to end up seeing a fight between Zionists and Chinese for Argentina. That's what I think will happen in the distant future. I don't know when, but it's clearly conditions are shaping up for that. Like China's moving in hard. Argentina has a federalist system, so the Chinese are negotiating at local levels, right? And local governments will have already have offices in China, right? They have offices from Tierra del Fuego in China, right? And they're doing the same in Canada. Like I was in Canada recently looking at the same things. You look at those Indians up in the Northwest Territories. I was up in Nunavut, all these different, I wasn't in Nunavut, but you see these indigenous breakaway groups that are not breakaway, but indigenous rights groups. Let me tell you what, indigenous rights groups are just a way of splitting off the indigenous people, like down in Panama and so many other United States, wherever. And or in Japan, the Ainu people, you split them off and then you negotiate with them, right? So you can bypass main governments do it. They do it in all over the place in Pakistan and Myanmar, Burma, you know what I mean? They do the same things everywhere, right? And that's what they're doing here. They've got indigenous people down in Patagonia that they're building up their indigenous rights so that they can negotiate with them, in a side channel. It's interesting, isn't it?
As
Yeah, I agree. I think Michael's correct. I think we should pay attention to that. We've got to pay attention on all fronts. It is interesting when he talks about the Chinese and, of course, their influence even in America. Uh, I think Americans need to understand you can't do that without having an alliance here in America. And so the question is, who are they aligned with in the U.S. government? If you take a look, what's happening is interesting is that since 47 is going to be the president, we've got a lot of people, a lot of Democrats, a lot of people who are bad people, all of a sudden jumping ship and all of a sudden, ironically, becoming good people, you know, and
Wrestling.
trying to like now be the good guys because I think they don't want anybody to go after them for all the bad stuff they did. But I want the American public to realize that they're just as deceptive. There's a lot of deception here, and they're just as deceptive as they were before. Just because they start saying, "Okay, we want to do something different. We want to align ourselves with, a little tighter with the Republican Party or their good policies for the Constitution or whatever." That's not true. It's not true at all.
yeah,
It's just lip service. They've compromised, and I think the people that we pay attention to are the ones that don't compromise. And that happens to be President Trump, of course. What a great example of that. Mike Flynn, of course, and a number of other people that he's putting on the transition team. So the American people, we've got to be very very careful and keep an eye out over the next 4 years. Like I think it's great to celebrate and be happy with stuff, but you can't let your guard down. You know, um, that's really even with the stuff that Mike's talking about. Mike's talking about these influences on the outside with the Chinese, and they're pushing and they're going to push up. And he's exactly right. China wants to make the world China, and they want to do it in America as well. And they can be extremely disruptive. So how we handle that, or how the American people handle that, is going to be interesting over the next four years. I quite honestly, I've never understood, and maybe this is something 47 will address. I hope he does. I've never understood why any foreigner could buy land in America,
yeah,
especially the
Exactly.
Chinese.
yeah.
I still don't understand it. It's mind-boggling. I don't know why Congress even allows it. And I think if there was one issue that the American people need to pay attention to, it's that. Yeah, you've got people like, their subsidiaries, they're buying it under other companies or whatever. But I don't think we should allow our enemies to be amongst us, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Tommy, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's fucking insane that you can buy like a plot of farmland next to like where 160th Shore is. Like, I'm a U.S. citizen. If I go near one of those bases, I'll get shot. But you can buy land and you're from China. No, that's madness. Uh, Mike, what you were saying. So, what realistically, and if you had your druthers, like, what would defending the Panama Canal look like? Like, what, like realistically, like Trump pulls you in right now. Like, what would that look like? Just for my own curiosity.
First of all, reasserting the Monroe Doctrine, which is not just Panama, it's just the
Just the
whole,
hemisphere.
you have to do the whole thing, right? Like Venezuela is thick in bed with Iran, China, and Russia. And Iran has been supplying weapons that can be used to shut the Panama Canal easily and the Caribbean. And China's all over the Caribbean. We were up in Bahamas recently looking at, they got a huge port right off the coast of Florida, right? Antigua, just one after another. China is thick in the Caribbean, all Central and South America. We were in El Salvador. They just built a giant library. We were in it. It's spent half a day in it. And says got a Chinese Communist Party flag flying out front, right? Everywhere we go is like this. Whether it's Canada, we were in a Chinese police station in Canada earlier this year. You can't make up this stuff, right? We went in and talked with them in the Chinese police station. But let me come back down to Argentina, and then I'll answer your question.
Sure.
Argentina is vital terrain. If they take Panama, the Chinese can take it. And people are like, no, that's impossible. It's like nonsense. They can take it for sure. For sure. Trust me. I'm down there all the time studying this problem. They are taking the neighbors, right? And Argentina becomes more and more key because we need a way to get between the seas, right? The northern corridor up where the ice is, that's where Russia and China are operating up there. And they're getting the indigenous groups to split off up in Nunavut and all these different things, right? Where are we going to get our ships across? And when the Spanish American War, we had to, sail all the way across down to Tierra del Fuego, back up to Cuba, that sort of thing. And the Panama Canal wasn't there yet. How are we going to do that when China actually has a base down there with missiles, right? They can cut us off all the way down. They can cut us off between the seas, right? They can cut us off. And they will, and that's what they're clearly setting up to do. That's just one move, right? Another move is they and APAC and others just control our Congress. They do it in Canada now. You've got members of the Canadian government that are straight up CCP, hardcore. Basically you got Xi with his finger in little Trudeau's chest. Of course, Trudeau's just a little condom for a globalist. He's not really a leader of anything. He's just a dirty. Yeah, that's what he is. He's a condom. That's straight up what he is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an accurate description because once he's done, he'll just be discarded, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll just throw another condom on, and that's what's happening. That's what these leaders are. Whether it's Rutte over in Netherlands, there's one after another. There's been so many of these people, and there'll be the King of England, King Charles. I mean, what is that guy? He's just a guy that wears funny costumes, Yeah. These are not the people that are running the world. I just finished an interesting book, by the way, called The Tower of Bazzel. It's about the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, biggest bank in the world, most powerful bank in the world, they say, right? It's a very interesting book. Everybody should read Creature from Jekyll Island if you want to understand more about what's going
Griffin, on. Yeah.
And yeah, I was on with him recently. His book is amazing. Everybody, we should have all read it in high school. You know what I mean? And then read it again when you're like 25 and again when you're 30. You know what I mean? So just keep reading it as your knowledge base increases. The amount of juice you get out per squeeze will increase, right? You'll understand more now of what you see, and you know how it is. Sometimes you read a book when you're young, and then you read it again when you're older, and you get twice as much juice out of it.
I read it in 2021 at 31. Yeah, and it had a much greater impact on me. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and so you see, he talks about in The Creature from Jekyll Island, the Panama Canal, right? He talks about Carter giving it away and that sort of thing, right? And these sorts of things, they're all part of the greater game. The great game is not over. It continues. There's many players. There's not just one globalist. There's not just one set of globalists. There's many layers of globalism, and they interact with each other. And so what we have down in Argentina, this is a pork chop. This is a pork chop that the big players are going to want to take. And I think it'll be a battle between Zionists and Chinese, actually. But when it comes to Panama, Chinese will definitely, they are, and now the Panamanians don't want to hear anything about that. They got the big pride thing going on. I'm like, you can have all the pride you want, but unless you got missiles and strategic depth and all kinds of other things to guard this canal, you're not going to be able to guard it without a big, big friend that's willing to do it, right? And the Panamanians get it, but at the same time, The Panamanian economy can be collapsed, and the U.S. economy can be collapsed by just shutting the canal. You just shut the
Mm.
canal, shut it for 6 months or so, right? Some period of time, right? And then at some point, you just come in and just take it. You just
Yeah.
take it. You can weaken Panama and then come in this road and railway that they're going to build through the Darien and invade. It's easy to use information war to get the Colombians fired up to, we need our canal back, right? We need our, not that they ever had it, but we want Panama, right? And then the Chinese can easily use the Colombians as a condom and to then come take Panama, then China will own Panama, right? And using surrogates, right?
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. There might be enough of a mandate, or regardless of mandate, just actual authority. I think there's like there's the American mandate, but then there's like the personal mandate of Trump. It's his second term. He's almost 80. He's a billionaire, and they try to blow his head off in front of his fucking family. Like I feel like I hope and pray that there's going to be even less regard for, I don't know, appearances or optics, and just to go in and pull the band-aid off, hate them all you want, but do whatever needs to be done, that in 50 years we don't look back and go, man, I wish we had let him do that.
If
That's
Trump
what.
is serious about the migration, these invasions, if he's deadly serious, he's going to go straight at the UN, and I mean full
Yeah.
steam ahead. He's going to go right for the UN, and I mean defund, shut their offices, kick them out, start arresting people that have been involved in trafficking children and adults. If you're deadly serious about this and not just putting out fires, if you're just putting out fires and not putting out arsonists, you will never win. The main arsonist is the United Nations. He needs to put out the arsonist, right? If he's deadly serious, he's going to go straight for the UN. Now, Masako Ganaha and I, we walked into a UN office here in Buenos Aires about 6 weeks ago, the IOM, the International Organization for Migration. My camera is sitting on IOM books right here, actually. The IOM, we walked in and we asked for a job. Those are the main people that are involved in invading us, right? And the guy that we talked with, he said, we're not hiring right now. The United Nations is concerned because Trump just got elected and our funding may be cut. Of course, internally, I'm applauding. But I would work for IOM for free. I mean, but the bottom line is the IOM is the main engine of our invasions, right? And you have to go after the United Nations. You have to go after HIAS. The Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society is one of the main invasion forces of the United States and Canada. Is HIAS, Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. I've written about them many times. I've published many videos and photos of them that I found down in Panama. When I'm not found, I made, right? And when I'm with HIAS, I mean, I have breakfast with them and down in Darien, right? Many times, right? So, I mean, they are a main engine of the invasion. You got to go after HIAS. They were founded in 1893, right? To help Jews get out of different places and escape to the next place. Now they're invading the United States, but they're invading us with people from all over the world. Chinese, they're aiding and abetting Iranians coming. HIAS is helping Iranians invade the United States, right? HIAS is helping people from Gaza and everywhere else come into the United. They're doing their genocide in Gaza while helping them
Pushing
get
here.
into the United States, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. We're being invaded. You have to go after these people. You have to recognize who is actually doing it and man up and go for them, no matter what people say about you.
Yeah.
You got to take out the UN and you got to take out HIAS.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what people say, and it doesn't matter if it's Israel and APAC or the CCP and buying land around us, or sending jungle tigers, or moving, Gazan refugees. Like you said it perfectly. If you have to remove the arsonist, it doesn't matter who well, they're our ally, or they're gonna call us Nazis. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. It's like that
If they're
meme.
burning us down, they're not our allies.
It's like that
Liberty,
meme.
USS Liberty, you ain't my
Exactly.
friend. You're not my friend.
Exactly.
I grew up
Exactly.
supporting Israel, and I supported Israel for many years up until recent times. It takes time to uninstall that firmware, right?
Hmm.
To realize what's actually going on. And because we've been installed with firmware since we were born, we've got to support the magical elves of fake Israel. I'm just starting to call it Zion Stand because that's what it actually is.
It's like that meme. It goes, save Western civilization and be called a Nazi. Do nothing. be killed and called a Nazi. Like there's
Right.
no world in which these
Yeah.
people don't hate you. So that's kind of where I am. But Baz, you just met with Trump. How serious do you think he is about enacting anything more than just token, put up a picket fence on the southern border?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I didn't actually get to meet with 47. I
But you got to
was
go to Mar-a-Lago,
at
which is
40.
cool as
Yeah,
shit.
I was at 47's place. It was an honor to be at the president's house and met a few members of the transition team and some of Tulsi Gabbard's people and just different people, introducing themselves. Um, I get the impression, President Trump, you can kind of fool me once, but you're not going to fool me twice kind of guy. I think that anybody who underestimates him this go around when it comes to the deep state are fools. Yes, his first time in, I think, he was surrounded by all the wrong people. And Mike Flynn actually tried to tell him that. And a great mistake was made. Um, I think that it'll be different this time. I don't get the impression, to be honest with you, and I could be wrong because there's a lot to be learned out there. But I don't get the impression from President Trump that he's being very political at all. I don't think he's a politician, and I don't think he wants to be a politician. I mean, he could correct me. I think he's a great leader, to be honest with you, and I think he knows that it takes being a leader in order for this country to be saved. Mike Flynn said something a couple of days ago, and it's true. He said, one thing well, he knows a lot about Donald Trump, but he said Donald Trump loves this country. He's sold out for America all the way, and I don't think anybody can question that. To be honest with you, he doesn't have uh, a motivation to do anything other than be an American and save the country. To be honest with you, and I think we're seeing that uh, reflected in the attitudes of other world leaders now that are glad Trump's in. I think other leaders are afraid, and guess what? They need to be afraid. They need to be afraid of this incoming administration and Donald Trump. It's strong. It's packed full of good patriots and stuff. And people that really don't care what you think or what you call them because they stand on the Constitution. They stand on justice, and that's another thing too. They obviously we have a broken judicial system, and that needs to get cleaned up as well. But um, you know, things like Cash Patel going into the bureau. I heard his statements. Something to the effect. Don't quote me, but something. I'm coming after you, all the bad people, and you're going to go to jail. And I don't think I think if this transition team or if 47 were to just if I were to be honored with him saying how do you think I should approach this, I'd say, sir, I said, they mistook your kindness for weakness, and I said, going in this term I would show no mercy, because if you don't clean all the cancer out, it's going to
It's
come
gonna come
back.
back. Yeah.
I don't care what they say.
Mm.
And I think that when you hear them positioning themselves now, where they go, well, it's going to be revenge day and he's going to come after us. And you know what? Yeah, you're right. We are coming after you. You need to know that. You're not going to get away with what you did. You did it to us. You were the ones that committed the crime. We didn't start the fight, but guess what? We're going to finish it. And every Democrat out there, and every socialist, and every globalist, and every Antifa, and every BLM butthead, and every single person that went out to destroy this country, I tell the American people, clean house, go after them, and go after them relentlessly so
Mm.
that we never have to deal with this again. Um, you know, we need some good mop up operations after we start cleaning house, after we this war is comes to an end, so to speak. And I think the American people need to be the ones to do that. I think they need to be empowered to do that. I think President Trump is the guy that will allow the American people to do that. To be honest with you, he will call it for what it is. We've seen him in the past, like you're gonna call him a name, like he cares. What are you going to do? And it's interesting is every rotten thing they tried to do him, everything they tried to say he did and he didn't do, it's all coming out now. It's all coming out. It's just the same stuff with Mike Flynn, with the Russia collusion thing. They all lied about that. They destroyed his family. They destroyed him to a certain degree. But like the phoenix in the fire, they all rose by God's good grace. They came out of it all. And I say, yeah, now that you got your legs underneath you, sprint, sprint to the finish. And along the way, every rotten egg there is, step on it
Mm.
all the way through, crush it, so that it never can harm America again. That's how I feel about it. And a lot of people say, well, what about grace and what about, compassion and what about forgiveness? Oh yeah, I can forgive you, but I'm not going to forget about what you did. I'm not going to forget I'm not going to forget anything the deep state tried to do to this country. And I don't think we should, to be honest with you.
Well, at a certain point, by not doing something, you're now betraying innocents who are yet to be born. You're now, I totally get grace. I totally get Christian values and being Christ-like. But there's also a point where it's like suicide by cop. Like you might not get up and go, "I'm gonna shoot someone today." But if someone's made if adults made the decision and they're pulling a knife, it now comes down to you're shooting them or they're stabbing you, and now your wife and kids don't have a father. At a certain point,
Yeah,
you have been dealt a crossroads, and there is no decision that is not selfish. You could say it's selfish to take a life. It's selfish to, I don't know, orphan your son. You now have to make that decision. It's a shitty one. I get it. No, they're not waking up going, I can't wait to shoot someone today. But at a certain point, there is nothing noble or graceful or moral about bending over. And I think that's where we are now from a bioweapon to a stolen election to 34 felony counts to a stand down operation. There's nothing, it can't be anything other. You do not get close to the president with an AR. No, you're at a point now where whatever comes, if something comes from a result of you not going scorched earth, you deserve it. You deserve every bit of it.
yeah,
Because at this point, you've let it go.
yeah,
You've let the you've not got out all the cancer, and you go, "Oh, I hope it won't come back." It's gonna come back. You have to remove it,
yeah,
and it sucks. Chemo's not fun. I get it. But you have to do chemo on the nation right now. It's just what it is,
yeah,
and that's kind of where I am on
yeah.
that.
Well,
Not.
and the deep state thinks we're still buying their baloney. I
Oh yeah.
watched last night, I watched last night when this whole drone thing came up, not to even get on that subject because it really doesn't matter. And nobody could have summed it up better than President Trump when he said, the government knows what's going on and they're just not telling you,
Yeah.
and that's true. And
Yeah.
so once again, they're lying, they're making up stuff, and we're just rolling our eyes going, you expect us to believe anything you're saying? You seriously? Out of all the lies you've been caught in, out of all the corruption, all the rigging of the elections, I mean, and on and on and on, and so Americans are, I think they're a lot smarter now, and I think not only they're smarter, but I think Americans now, because you and I, I think you and I, Michael, may have talked about this before about being on the brink of civil war here. If 47 didn't get in, and that's probably true, but it's not that it can't still happen. But I want to encourage Americans to stand strong. I want to encourage patriots to get out there and get rid of corruption. I want them to take their rightful place as American citizens and not get slapped around anymore. Somebody asked me the other day when I was back in Colorado. Somebody said, well, "What do you think will happen if BLM and Antifa show up and start burning buildings down and disrupting stuff?" And I said, Are you asking my opinion? What I think could happen?" They said, "Yeah. What do you think will happen?" I said, "I think they'll get shot this time. I honestly think Americans will bring out their weapons, and I think they'll be shot. And I think Antifa and BLM and all those type of individuals need to understand that that is where the American people are." And people will go, "Well, are you encouraging them to hurt people?" No, I'm encouraging you to defend yourself and defend your cities against any threat. foreign or domestic. That's the most war fighters. We took that oath to defend this country against enemies, foreign and domestic. And our founding fathers are so brilliant. It's like, what do you mean enemies, foreign and domestic? What do you mean domestic? How about Joe Biden? What a traitor. Treason at the highest level, and Harris and the Democratic Party and a lot of other people in Washington. Total treason. And they should serve a traitor's judgment, which generally is hanging somebody with a short rope from a tall tree, you know, in the old days. But I think American people are seeing it that way, and they're like, we're not going down this road again. We're locked and loaded. We're ready, and we're not going to put up with three-letter agencies being weaponized against us anymore, calling parents domestic terrorists because they want to protect their children in schools. The FBI comes in, and it's a shame because I have a lot of good friends that are in the bureau, and and they're the ones that tell me, look, we got a lot of rotten eggs here. Even in our own organization and my old organization, the CIA, and the list goes on and on, and DOJ, and the list goes on and on and on. So I think that the American people are saying, bring it on, bring it on. Don't come knocking on my door if you're going to do something illegal and bad. Don't try to set me up. And I don't blame the American people, to be honest with you, because you and I talked about this a couple of years ago. I said the mistake that the Democrats will make, the mistake that the globalists will make, is they will underestimate the resolve of the American patriot. And that is where we are. And to this day, they did that, and they're going to continue to do that. But I think the American patriot's going to come out fighting this time, to be honest with you. And so I encourage people to be good Americans, to be honest with you, to defend your nation against enemies, foreign and domestic, and to understand your rights as an American citizen. That's why it's one of the things, Tommy, and Michael knows this. This is one of the things I'm really proud of Mike Flynn with taking over and spearheading America's Future. That organization has been around 70 some years and everything. They have done a great job in getting people back on track with the Constitution and with the anti-trafficking stuff as well. But I'd encourage your listeners, if they haven't taken a look at that organization, AF, America's Future, they need to look into it. As you know, we're on their Little Flowers Advisory Board when it comes to the anti-trafficking aspects, and they're good strategic partners for ARC. Mary Flynn O'Neill, Mike's sister, heads that up. Just a brilliant leader herself and their entire family. But if you want to know what it takes to be a good American, get connected with those people. It's a good support mechanism on every front, to be honest with you. I laughed the other day. We were talking to a bunch of people, and they said, "So, what do you think about Mike Flynn?" And I said, "Well, if I believed in reincarnation, I'd actually think Mike Flynn was either George Washington or Thomas Jefferson of our time, to be honest with you." I said, he's one of the founding fathers. I said, because his intestinal fortitude and that of Trump and the people who sent it is the mark of great men that displayed their courage and their wisdom to get this country founded years before us. So those people are there, and nobody, we still got a lot of loudmouths out there that are always still firing shots across the bow, and still trying to cause damage. But the majority of us now we're not paying attention to those windbags anymore. They don't mean anything to us, and we don't mind telling them you don't mean anything to us, because they're just going to get caught in lies again and stuff. So.
Not to take it 180 degrees, but I want to ask Mike, what do you think of, or just gut reflex? What do you think the entire drone hysteria is?
PSYOP. I mean, why
Yeah,
hasn't anybody, let me see something here. Why hasn't anybody caught a good photo of the things, right? Seriously, you see
yeah.
this camera? If one of those drones came near me, I would have incredibly high quality photos of it. This is the same kind of photo that camera that that guy used when the Trump bullet trace, Sony Alpha 1, right? Best camera money can buy, right? There's got to be thousands and thousands of bird photographers out there and wedding photographers and other photographers that have the skills and the gear to get high
Hmm.
quality photos of that. Why are they only coming out at nighttime? I keep asking people, where are the high quality photos? You're telling me that these things are flying all over the United States, or parts of it anyway, and nobody has gotten really great photos of it. Seriously, even at nighttime, I've got all the thermal gear, I've got all the night vision gear. I could get some photos, and I know there's tons of other people that can do it. There's got to be thousands of people that can get it. Where are the photos? Why aren't they flying at daytime? It's a
Yeah.
psyop. It's an obvious psyop. It's nuclear weapons. Are they only going to search for the nuclear weapons at nighttime? I mean, seriously, what's going on here, man? Let me tell you how many brain cycles I put into this, like 30 seconds. Well, I've just doubled it, right? And so, you know what I mean? Seriously, this is it. You keep one of these things around, you're going to get the photos of it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, and any real threatening aircraft would have been, well, I don't know. Actually, I was gonna say blown out of the sky, but I guess we did watch a balloon cross the entire United States last year, so
That's
I
the
actually don't know.
truth.
I don't know if that comment stands, but yeah, no, I mean, even forget that camera. I mean, I have this. Like, I
Yeah.
can
Why
get
does
a.
nobody have any
That's
good?
yeah, no,
I mean, this
that's
thing right
fair.
here. Yeah, exactly. But
No,
you would think somebody would have at least one, because there are these, they make these things. I don't know how many they sold.
I
A
have one.
million.
I have one
You know what I
right
mean?
there. Yeah, I
I
have a
mean,
Sony Alpha
seriously.
one. I have an Alpha one right there, and another one back there.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
This is a totally badass camera.
yeah,
And there's a lot of different other ones that are great too, right?
yeah. That's
And
fair.
and they're like, well, it's at nighttime. And I'm like, let me tell you what, I did a lot of combat photography at nighttime. And I'm gonna tell you what, with this camera and this lens, if those drones came near me, I would get some high quality shots. And there are thousands and tens of thousands of people that could do it. And nobody has gotten the shot, even though the photo would be worth a lot of money, right?
That has me thinking that that has me thinking that like the psyop is really like how many people can be fooled by AI generated videos. If Occam's razor would say, if no one has a shot of these, then
Mm.
then they're not there. It's not that people don't have cameras. And it's not that this was a one-off, crazy Bigfoot. It's like it's ongoing, which would tell me that this is more of a, I don't know, either AI generated videos and that's the psyop to see how well those can deceive, or they're a projection of some sort, some form of, I don't know, active defense or camouflage. But that's what it would, if Occam's razor would say that they're not there in whatever iteration that means. Either the videos are fake or people are seeing something, but the reason you can't get an accurate picture of it is because the thing itself, it's like that joke, like, what if Bigfoot's just fuzzy? And that's why you can't get a good picture of, right? It's like the
It's
very,
just
yeah,
it was just
like
fuzzy.
Bigfoot
That's a
might just
classic.
be blurry, like,
I've never
So
heard that before. I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
start using that.
but yeah, exactly. So it's like it doesn't matter how many megapixels you have. You're taking a picture of a blurry thing. So that's what that would tell me. Not that that
You've
really.
seen some of my nighttime photography of
Yeah.
combat. Some of my
Yes.
nighttime and this was with cameras that weren't anywhere near this good. I've
Yeah.
got nighttime photography that's like the Cop Etchells effect, as an example. I'm the one that named the Cop Etchells effect, right? Because there was no
Okay.
name for it. And I was doing it with a camera that's like one third as good as this one, right? And
Yeah.
how are they doing this? Maybe it's, I don't know, lasers from a
Yeah. I don't
high
know, like a
aircraft
hologram.
projecting on
Might even
what are
be
the
three-dimensional hologram.
yeah,
It might be
what are the
impressive.
it could be all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're talking about people that can do impressive things and they have impressive budgets. I don't know. I think it's some sort of psyop.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm spending my time on things like, what are the Chinese doing? How are we going to stop the invasions? Stop the invasions is quite simple. Start arresting people that are involved and they're taking everything they have, all their office space, all their everything, right? And not just cut their budgets into their budgets, demand your money back, and start going after them personally as people, right? And start deporting tens of millions. That's how we can solve that. And that'll cause a lot of people to self-deport, right? Uh, that's one thing. So I'm looking at problems that I can affect, like China. China is clearly, we have to go back to Monroe Doctrine. This is deadly serious. China has a port right off the Florida coast there in Bahamas. I mean, Canada is dead. I mean, we went up to Canada. I spell it with a K now. I don't even spell it with, I call the old Canada with a C. The new Canada is
Yeah.
K, Canada. I mean, you go up to Canada now. It's like it's going to be a fight between Indians and Chinese. I mean, the Canadians, they're just like we've got token white people Canadians now. The rest of them, they're there running the water projects until they can be taken over by Chinese.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to ask about the drones, but we're coming up on an
Yeah,
hour, so
there's my answer
there's,
on the drones.
there's your answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Show me the photos.
Yeah, no, that's
Did the FAA say anything about the drones? Anybody get any word from them?
they've said the FAA said that they're, as of last week, I think they said it again yesterday, that they're lawfully operated drones, which means nothing.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means literally nothing. It's just they're lawful.
Huh.
They're craft within an air medium. Thank you. It's yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're
Well,
not going to get.
we got a lot of good shots right now. I don't know why they haven't shot one down yet.
That's coming. That's coming. Someone's gonna put a 50 right through one. Yeah, no, that's coming.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I guess that would be a way to kind of force it, right? Because if you shoot down an aircraft, even a drone, that's technically a felony. So I guess to shoot one down, you'd have to be, I don't know, you'd have to have criminal charges brought against you by whoever owns it.
good question. I don't know about
That might
that.
be
By
the way to
whoever
do it.
owns it, that would be a federal crime right off the bat. I
Yeah.
mean, you shoot down somebody's
Yeah.
DJI drone, you're going
Yeah.
to
Well, what
prison.
I'm saying is, if we want to
Yeah,
find out whose drone it is, wouldn't the
yeah.
person have to come forward and press charges, or is it just outright?
The person doesn't press the
Got
charges.
it.
That would
It's
be
just
that would
all
be.
right. All right. Never mind. Don't do that. Anybody fucking getting jacked up, don't do
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah,
All
yeah. I
right.
mean, you'll
Well,
end up
watching Tommy's
arresting you
podcast, and
for
he and Michael
saying
Yard
do
told
it. You
me,
know,
no, I'm not. No, no, no. Don't engage in any aircraft fire.
Ah,
no, at
Yeah.
all. Period.
Yeah.
No
Period.
way.
But yeah, I'd say, I mean, unless you guys have any other closing thoughts kind of about, so what to realistically go after the arsonists, not just the fire, and secure the Panama Canal. And yeah, and as Baz said, remove the cancer or the cancer will return. I think that and removing the arsonist is kind of the same statement. Remove the thing causing it or it will come back. And I think that's kind of it. Yeah. Baz,
yeah.
Matt, any other closing thoughts?
No, Michael, you guys have a good Christmas down there in South America, and you have a good Christmas up there with your folks. God bless you guys. It's always good to be on here with you. Thanks for the time, and let's move forward over the next 4 years with 47 and give them the best support we can and see what we need to do for the country.
Get out.
Thanks, Baz. Thanks, Tommy. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too. Merry Christmas to everybody watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas holiday. And yeah, thank you both for your time. Everybody, thank you for watching. God bless America. Thank you so much, Joe.
God bless.